Good morning, friends. It's good to see you. I'm glad you're here today. Today we're going to be looking at a story that occurred after Easter. Jesus appeared to his disciples several times, and this is a story about one of those times. He had told his disciples to go to Galilee to meet him there. And so that was about a 4-day walk, about 80 miles. And the disciples headed off. They were on their way to Galilee. When they got there, they spent some time around the Galilee Sea. It was a comfortable place for them. It was a place that several of them knew very well because they were fishermen. And maybe they remembered times when they fished with their fathers. It felt good at a time when they were missing Jesus so much. It felt good to be someplace that was kind of like home for them. And so at one point, Peter stood up and he said, "I'm going fishing." The others joined him. It felt good to be on the sea. The sounds and the smells of the lake comforted them. It felt like home. They fished all night, but did not catch anything. In the morning, the sky turned pink and then blue. They could make out the shore and someone standing by a fire. They could see the smoke and red glow from the charcoal burning. The man said, "Have you caught anything?" All they could say was no. He said, "Then throw your nets in on the other side of the boat." What could they lose? They pulled in their empty nets and threw them on the other side. They could feel the fish moving as they held on to the ropes. John was not paying attention to the fish. He leaned forward and watched the man moving on the shore. And he said to Peter, "It is the Lord." Peter stood up, jumped in, and he swam to the shore. The others turned the boat around toward land. The nets were so full that they could not pull them into the boat, so they dragged them behind the boat. As they walked toward the fire, the stranger called out, "Well, bring some fish." When they gathered around the fire, the stranger was no stranger. They all knew it was Jesus. "Have some breakfast." There were fish cooking on the fire. He gave them fish and bread, and they talked as they ate. The fish and bread also tasted like home. Then Jesus asked Peter, "Peter, do you love me?" And Peter said, "Yes." And Jesus said, "Then feed my sheep." And then Jesus asked again, "Peter, do you love me?" Peter said, "Yes, Lord, you know I love you." And Jesus said, "Then feed my sheep." And then Jesus asked a third time, "Peter, do you love me?" Peter said, "Lord, you know everything. You know I love you." And Jesus said, "Then feed my sheep." I wonder why Peter was asked that question 3 times. I want to let you think about it. I want you to think about what your answer would be if Jesus asked you. I want you to think about what maybe Jesus meant by feed my sheep. I wonder who you think the sheep are. And what does Jesus want us to feed them? Watch this simple video while you think about those questions. wonder why Jesus asked Peter, one of his closest friends, one of the disciples, "Do you love me?" And I wonder why he asked 3 times. I wonder if it was a way for Peter to receive forgiveness, to accept forgiveness. You know, Peter hadn't always loved Jesus the way he wanted to. On the night that Jesus was arrested, Peter actually denied Jesus 3 times. He said, "I don't even know that man." 3 times. And oh, how that must have hurt Jesus. And oh, how that must have hurt Peter to know that he had let down a friend that way. Forgiveness, saying I'm sorry, and forgiving someone else, and receiving forgiveness, those are all ways that we say, I love you. Maybe that's one way you can share with others this week that you love them by just saying, I'm sorry, or saying, I forgive you. You know, forgiveness doesn't mean that we're saying what that person did was okay. It just means we're saying it's more important that I love the way Jesus taught me to love. That's the most important thing. It doesn't mean it's okay, but it does mean that we love the way Jesus taught. I also wonder if Jesus was maybe teaching Peter that, you know, there's a lot of ways to say I love you, and it's pretty easy to just say I love you. But it's not always easy to show our love. And so I wonder if he was just maybe pointing out to Peter that there would be things that Peter would need to do to continue to show the world that he loved Jesus. So I wonder what you might do this week to show that you love others or that you love Jesus. Maybe you'll help with chores at home. Maybe you'll give more hugs. Maybe you'll say, I'm sorry more. How do you show Jesus that you love him? This week, Pastor Randall, one of my friends from church, wants to show you something that our church is doing to show that we love Jesus and that we love others. So why don't you take a look at this video?
Hi, I'm Randall Lucas. I'm one of the pastors here at Lover's Lane, and I wanted to show you what we're doing behind the scenes in missions and outreach. As you can see, we're packing bags for fresh produce, rice, and beans for people in need. We're serving Wesley Rankin, Christ Foundry, Casa Linda UMC, and people here in our own church. And out the doors here, we serve about 300 people a week with fresh produce. We partner with DISD, and Sarah Luganville is the one in charge of that work. So thank you so much for partnering with us here at Lover's Lane. If you'd like to get involved, you can sign up at llumc.org/serve, or if you'd like to give, you can sign up at llumc/give and select fresh produce. Thank you so much for all you do in Christ's name.
Isn't that wonderful? Isn't that just amazing? 300 people being served a week at our church with food that we have helped to purchase with our donations and that has been donated to us. I wonder if there's any way that you might get involved this week with that project. Maybe you'll donate some money, or maybe you'll donate some food, or maybe you'll think of some other way that you want to love others and show Jesus that you love him. You know, one of the things I was doing earlier this afternoon was writing a I love you, thank you note to a friend, just to let them know that I love them and that I was thinking of them. That might be one way. There are lots of ways to say I love you in lots of different languages. But I wonder how you'll show this week that you love others and that you love Jesus. And I look forward to seeing those ways because I know that you love Jesus. I know that you love others. And it'll be really fun to see how God uses that love and uses your actions of love. So, I love you. I'll see you later. Bye.